Right. So one of the other areas of concern, I hear from customers that they're concerned about, well, any migration, any movement from one platform to another is going to have some degree of disruption there. It's going to impact how people are using the system, and it's when you look at hybrid, what's the story about the disruption story around that?
Well, one of the things that hybrid was designed to mitigate in the first place was disruption. Prior to hybrid scenarios, and hybrid's not something that has an affinity to Office 365. Hybrid's something that exists across Microsoft services and software. But great example of, if you think about pre-hybrid, the pre-hybrid era, so we'll just call this PHE. So the pre-hybrid era, everything was really migration-centric. And when we first started to introduce some of our hybrid capabilities, those were really designed around migration as being a foundation for those. But in the pre-hybrid era, you had content. And that content was decided by a number of different site collections in SharePoint's case, each with its own document library, lists, calendars, whatever it may be, site mailboxes. And largely what would happen is you would need to migrate this data to Office 365. Unfortunately, there was really no rapid way to do so. So you disrupted your business because people expected their site collection to be here, and you told them for the next 3 days your site collection is going to be in the ether, and then we'll send you an email.
3 days, you're very optimistic there, Bill, in your example. Like,
once it arrives here, once it arrives and escapes the ether, we'll let you know when it gets there. That's what migration largely was. So again, it was disruptive. With hybrid, it provides that connective tissue. You can migrate elements of that particular site very rapidly, or at the same time, what you can do is you can actually move things on a site-by-site basis, which means you can take this one site and move that over a long weekend, over evening hours. They can still search it because you have hybrid search set up. So basically they come to on-premises, they visit their on-prem search center because it's bookmarked in their browser. They type search and they derive the results from their new site, which is here. If you're using the hybrid app launcher, 2013, 2016, let's say their site existed up here, there's a little SharePoint button. Well, guess what? They click that SharePoint button and it takes them over here. So it really abstracts a lot of their daily tasks. So
this is a pretty common scenario. I mean, a lot of customers that said, hey, every net new SharePoint environment now, when you go create something, it's over in the cloud. It's part of that. As you're accessing, like for the end user, again, they just go in, all they know is that they're accessing their SharePoint site. It may be over here. Over time, it allows teams, business units, these site owners to say, hey, I'm ready to move this across and move, change that experience, maybe upgrade what that the performance, the look and feel, the capabilities of that site or site collection. But it gives some of that control to the organizations that own those to make those moves.
One of the other things that we did, and I'm just going to call this before hybrid era, after hybrid era. And one of the things that we've recently introduced, and by recently it's probably been several weeks, but great new hybrid investment is everybody's probably seen the modern team site in the Office 365 group site. Every team site gets a group, every group gets a site. That's our philosophy. But now with SharePoint Server 2013 and eventually SharePoint Server 2016, as an IT administrator, you can actually configure a new site creation request flow that starts on premises to hook into the modern group creation flow. So when your users decide that they need a new site and they click the new site button, it actually hooks into the modern group creation flow now. Completely abstracts the cloud. Basically what they see is this great new slick interface for creating sites, and then they get this beautiful new site. What they don't realize is they've actually been transitioned in Office 365 and their new site is getting provision there, because we do as much as we can through hybrid to abstract a lot of that to minimize the disruption on the business. So really it provides that flexibility and a connective tissue for organizations, so you're not going dark.
The old model of going dark, it can be very, a lot of that heavy lifting behind the scenes, they don't need to be aware of that.
Yeah, and I think with your experience with Microsoft Managed Solutions many years ago, when we first embarked on our cloud journey inside of Microsoft, particularly in the collaboration space, you're probably familiar with the way that we used to do it. What we used to do is we would go dark, which was we would find a maintenance window or an outage window, and we would effectively shut things down. and we would copy things over the network and then bring them back online on a Monday morning
Yeah.
and hope for the best.
And again, that was just the data side of it. I mean, I had, in that I had customer number 2, after, just the beginning of the program of what is now Office 365. And the problem wasn't even the moving of the data in the system, it's because they were moving from a non-Microsoft platform over into SharePoint. And so it was, once the lights came back on, the room had changed, been rearranged. And there was that issue as well. And so you really have the ability to go and set that up in that experience. So again, it can be entirely new and slick and beautiful. It can also be just as ugly as the old system if people are productive on that, and that's what you want over in that environment.
Yeah, and one of the things that hybrid allows is, you can avoid the remodeling, but you can end up with, a new interior.
Right.
So, or basically hybrid allows you to build the plane as you fly it. One of the things that you generally
I'd like to
don't
see
want
that
to do.
done, but yeah, general, but yeah.
In the aerospace industry, it's not something that anybody strives to achieve, but with a hybrid scenario, that's effectively what it allows you to do. It allows you to arrive at your destination while actually, constructing the vehicle that brings you there.
Well, I have to say that you've talked a little bit about the fast track as well. It's like that Microsoft has put a lot of effort into, a lot of content, thought into that. Helping with this experience, because I think, as you've said a couple times today, it's not, if you get over to the new environment, yet you've burned everybody, and then everybody's unhappy with that. If the users don't come along with you, then how successful is that environment? So,
yeah, absolutely, and that's one of the things that Fast Track can help. Not only can Fast Track help you migrate, not only can Fast Track help you implement hybrid scenarios, Fast Track is a great resource for developing a success plan that ensures once you arrive, you're going to achieve measurable usage at your destination. Because what hybrid, really is, or successive cloud really is it's based upon usage, like anything else. If nobody's using it, you're not gaining any value in that particular solution.
And therefore, it's not successful. Yeah, right. So, awesome.